Come along as I sand and refinish these 95-year-old hardwood floors. We are on another historic project here. This house was built in 1929. These are the original hardwood floors, although they have been, as you can see, sanded and refinished. They were stained this gray color. I would guess that this is classic gray. You can let me know what you think it is in the comments. Obviously some years ago, as it's pretty worn through in a lot of different spots. So it's time for a refinish. We are taking this floor back from this dark gray color where it's pretty worn and needing refresh. We're taking it back to natural. So we are starting off here. We are sanding and refinishing. We are doing a rough sand here. This is 40 grit paper on the big machine, and we are cleaning off that old gray stain. Trying to get the boards as clean as we can get them. Once I've gone over all of the center of the floors, it's time to edge all around the sides. So still with 40 grit paper, this time on my Clark Super 7R edger. And we're going around all the edges, getting off all of that old finish. This is repeated throughout the entire house. We're doing the downstairs of this house as well as the upstairs. This is a pretty big project in South Tropical Trail in Merritt Island, Florida is where we are on this one. So once it's been hit everywhere with the rough grit paper, we start to go over it with the fine grit paper. So going over the entire floor again, trying to get the floor again as clean as possible. Because we're going with the natural finish, you will be able to see if there's any of that gray remaining. We've obviously got to get it clean. We've got to get all of that off there so that when I go to put on that natural sealer, you don't see any of that. So here you see me doing that here. We'll go over the entire center of the floor with the fine paper as well as the edger around all the edges. Here upstairs, you see we need some repairs. There's paint on the floor, and these two bedrooms are now going to become one big master bedroom, is what you saw there. And those were those holes in the floor. That's where the closets used to be. So we've got to get that filled in. So here you see me cutting out so that we can weave in some new wood into these existing holes. They did tear out some sections in some old closets and some old bathrooms, so we have some of the gray wood that we can still use, but I don't want to use only that. Well, we don't have enough, first of all, so I've got to mix in some other reclaimed boards, and honestly, it is not a perfect match on this. I can't be too picky, though, when using reclaimed wood. I've got to use what I can get a hold of, right, that I think is going to be, as close as of a match as I can possibly get. So that's what I'm doing here. I bought this reclaimed Merritt Island pine, and we are installing that, kind of tying what was these two bedrooms, tying them together so that it's one big continuous floor. So you see me installing that back now that we've torn it out so I can weave it all into place. I am installing back now this reclaimed wood as well as some of that wood that was torn out from other projects. Once it's all in, we are ready to start sanding again. So this is in the upstairs. This is going to be the master bedroom. And just like downstairs, we're going over it starting with 40 grit paper, roughing it all off, cleaning off those, all the gray paint, the white paint that you see. These floors have been through it, as well as we're sanding to get these repairs, obviously, as flat as we can get them. So that we can get a nice, smooth, clean finish. So more of the same in that upstairs room, cleaning off these wood floors, and we will end up filling the cracks, especially around. I kind of spot filled upstairs. I did not trowel fill the whole thing. Spot filled upstairs, got those spots, especially where the repairs was. That needs to be filled well. So you see me, I've done that. It's all dry there. And so now we're going over it for the second time here in these clips, getting it smoother, flatter, and cleaner. So once that's done with the entire upstairs, doing that again, that 80 grit paper, we are off to the races again. So sanding all of that. Like I mentioned, it is not a perfect match on this. Obviously, the boards that were gray, that were a part of this floor originally, they seem to match perfectly. But the ones that I had to buy separately, it's not a perfect match. It's honestly probably as good as I can do, though. When buying reclaimed wood, it's just so hard to get a perfect match on that. You don't know what these floors have been through, if they've been in direct sunlight, if they've been mopped, what they've been cleaned with, what they've been through. You just don't know where it's all coming from. So anyway, it's probably about as good as I can do on that. So now that that's done, we are buffing the upstairs. This is my dad helping me out on this one. He's buffing for me up here. We are using a 100 grit screen on our Clark buffer. So you see him going over all of that upstairs, and now you'll see me doing the same thing downstairs. So same process, just buffing the entire thing, blending all of that sanding together where we've used the big machine and the edger as well as the orbiter, and just making it all even. So getting it ready. This is kind of one of the final steps before getting ready to coat on a natural refinish. So we're buffing over everything. We'll get it all vacuumed and cleaned up, and then it is ready to start applying the sealer, which you see me doing now. So we are upstairs now, once again, and we are applying the sealer. This is an oil-based polyurethane. This is Bona Dry Fast Sealer. You've seen me probably use it quite a bit in our videos. It's popular, especially in our area. On these old floors, a lot of times these customers want the floors to look how they would have looked originally. So in my opinion, the best way to do that is to use this product. I think it gives that natural, that oil-based poly look very nicely. So kind of back to how it would have originally been. Now this stuff takes about 4 to 6 hours to dry. So like on this project, for example, I like to coat in the evening. That way it's got all the rest of the afternoon as well as all night to dry and be ready for me in the morning. So that's what we did here. Once it's dry in the morning, I can come back and start buffing it again. So it tends to dry a little bit on the rough side. So we want to buff that smooth, number one. But for a second reason, we are creating a mechanical bond. We want these water-based coats that I'm going to be coating the floor with to be able to adhere. If we were to just put this coating over that oil-based sealer and let it dry, it would peel like cellophane. Obviously, you cannot put a water-based sealer over an oil-based product unless you abrade in between. So you saw me do that, and now we are applying the finish coats. So we're creating that mechanical bond, and now we're going over it with Bona Mega HD. Or no, not HD. What am I saying? That's traffic, sorry. Botched it right there. Bona Mega 1 is what we're using. Sorry about that. So going over that, this is a satin finish. And once we've got the middle coat on, or the second coat, we let that dry for about 2 hours, and then we'll come back and apply the final coat. So 3 coats total, 1 seal coat, 2 finish coats. Let that dry and cure up, and that is it, and that is all. So 3 to 5 days for full cure on that stuff. And then at that point, once it's dry and cured, they can start treating it like a floor. Don't need to be too careful with it or anything. The stuff is tough and protects the floor well. So that's it on that one. These guys have been working on this project for a long time, so they are ecstatic to be able to get to finally move in, and very happy with how it turned out. Obviously, it is a big difference from that nasty gray painted yucky floor that we started with to what we have now. It is a big difference. So you have to let me know in the comments what you think, if you would have done the same on this floor or what you would have done differently. You have to let me know, and I appreciate all of you watching. I did include some before and after pictures at the end of this, and I do have to come clean and tell you this is a project that we did a while ago. This is not a new project. This was quite a few months ago, but my project that I had going for this week ended up pushing off, so I don't actually have much going on right now, so I thought I would share with you one that we did a while back. I hope you enjoy, and I will catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.